You're listening to the One Man Show Network. Welcome to the MMA Fight Picks Podcast with your host, Aaron Weinbaum.
Hey kids, and welcome to the MMA Fight Picks Podcast. I'm your host, Aaron Weinbaum, and we are going to pick the very first ever UFC ESPN card. I guess it is ESPN Plus, and as of right now, I don't subscribe to ESPN Plus. I guess that's another $5.99 a month. Somebody figured this out, and I believe it's the MMA Takeover with Keisha. And it's like, if you want to watch every event, I guess pay-per-view, ESPN Plus, Fight Pass, it's like $2,300 a year or something like that. It's crazy. And of course, my father's trying to call me. I gotta. Sorry, Dad. Anyway, so yeah, $2,300. So that's a huge problem.
It's a huge problem. The huge problem.
That's right. That's what I am saying. But before I get into the fights, if you are watching this on the YouTube, please hit subscribe, show me a little love, leave a comment, whatever. And if you are on the Periscope, we are getting ready to pick fights for UFC Brooklyn. Feel free to jump in. I figured out the whole comment thing, so I messed it up last time. So jump in, pick fights. Let's have some fun. There are a lot of the fights on this card I want to pick, and I assume that by the time this comes out, or by the time the fights happen, I will have subscribed to ESPN Plus. There's just no way around it. And first of all, shout out to Adam Hunter. You can listen to the most recent episode of the MMA Roasted podcast, where he gives me lots of love, along with the parody accounts with Vince Pichel and, of course, Weendog. So, yeah.
Did we just become best friends?
Yep.
Hello from England. Well, hello to you, too. Awesome. And we are going to get started here picking these fights. I will keep the comments open, so feel free to jump on in. It's always nice to get comments off from the get-go. But first up, I want to go Belal Muhammad, friend of the podcast, against, who is this guy? Oh, thanks for the love. Geoff Neal. What? I know that Belal was supposed to fight recently. He has got some wins, man. Randy Brown, Jordan Main, Tim Means, Chance Contra, all decisions, but you got to love it. I think Belal is, she can't wait for the Dillashaw fight. Well, guess what? I can't wait for the Dillashaw fight either, and I will pick that soon, so hang out. And then you got Geoff Neal. He's no slouch. I didn't know who he was. But he's got some wins, man. Brian Camozzi, Frank Camacho, all in the UFC. Ooh, man. This could be kind of the underrated fight here. It's way down there on the prelims, but I got to go with my man Belal. I think he's too tough, too strong. And he's going to do what it takes to win. The guy trains during Ramadan when he's supposed to be starving himself. So, I mean, definitely got the mental fortitude. Definitely wants to survive. Not survive, but definitely wants to be top of the heap here. Next up, this is an interesting one because I thought this is a little quick after his last fight to drop down to lightweight. Donald Cerrone taking on the very game Alex Hernandez. So, you look at Cerrone's record. I mean, I thought he was probably too small for welterweight, but he might be a little too big for lightweight, and this is where a 165-pound division would come in handy, but I don't know how good his diet was. I think he's taken a little more seriously. You realize he's getting a little older. The word is he's got a nutritionist now. So he's alternated wins and losses here. He beat Yancy Medeiros. He lost to Leon Edwards. And, of course, he beat the great Mike Perry. Oh, yeah, baby. Take a look at the 10-year challenge here on the Iaquinta Realty account, and you will get the best Mike Perry pick you could possibly do. I believe if you're if you are watching live, it is a pinned tweet. So I don't like picking these for the weigh-ins, but, I want to give you guys a little time to digest this. So, yeah, we'll see how he looks at the weigh-ins. We'll see if he makes the weight. I'm sure he'll make the weight, but how dehydrated will he become fight night? And then you got Alex Hernandez. Came on a big surprise. His UFC debut, he beats Benavidez. Not beats him, but he starches him. Starches him in round one. in 42 seconds. And then Olivier Aubin-Mercier, the Canadian gangster, he beat him. It was a decision, and he said he was feeling a little off on that. His warm-up was a little skewed or whatnot. Oh, this is emotional because I love Donald Cerrone. He's brought me a lot of good fights. Don't know how the cut's going to affect him. Alex Hernandez is here to play, or not here to play. He's here to be in contention. Oh, I'm going to go with the upset here. I'm going to go with Alex Hernandez. How about that? What do you all think about that? All right. Next up, Glover Teixeira against, I had to look this guy up, Karl Roberson. All right. Glover, what did he do his last fight? He lost to Corey Anderson, a decision. Before that, he wins Vishek Sirkunov, loses to Alexander Gustafsson in the 5th round. They're not into some eye pokes or some other mitigating circumstances. And then, before that, way back in 19, not that long, sorry, guys, February 2017, Jared Cannonier. Then you got Karl Roberson, I believe. He last won against Jack Marshman, UFC 230, and lost to Cesar Fiera before that, UFC 224. And he beat Darren Stewart. Before that, he was one of the fighters on the Dana White Tuesday Night Contender Series. So, I know Glover's probably at the tail end of his career, and forgive me for saying that. I am a Glover Teixeira fan, but, age is not on his side. I think that, I don't think that Karl has faced the same amount of competition as Glover. So I'm gonna go with the veteran here. I'm gonna go with Glover Teixeira on this one. Yeah. Ooh, this one. Paige VanZant. What? Versus Rachael Ostovich. Wow. This takes place at 125 pounds, I believe. Paige's new weight class. But she has not won there yet. She has not won there. So let's see here. I just want to make sure. Yeah, I don't see where she's won. So her last 2 losses, Michelle Watterson, that was in the 115-pound weight class, and then she loses to Jessica Rose Clark. And excuse me, Jess is a bigger girl. I'm not fat shaming anyone here, but she recently tried to make 125 pounds again. Couldn't do it. By the way, also a friend of the podcast, Jess follows the Ali Quinta Realty account. And Rachael Ostovich, she had a loss to Montana De La Rosa. Before that, she wins against Karine Gevorgian. Oh, man. Whew. I think that Rachael is probably better suited for this weight class. Paige has some wins, but Rachel's got something to prove. And without getting into it, there was a domestic abuse thing, and she got beaten up very, very recently. And I know there's going to be some emotion coming into this fight. But, whew, I don't know if that's going to hurt her. I hope it wouldn't hurt her. Oh, Brian the Viking has Rachael Ostovich. All right. You know what, Brian the Viking? At Brian the Viking, I tend to agree with you, bud. I think that Rachael has it too. I think she's better suited for the weight class. She's been a little more active. So yeah, I think probably a lot of people are picking Paige, but yeah, I gotta go with Brian here. Rachael Ostovich, and best of luck to her. Also an Aya Quinta Realty fan. Okay, next up, Dustin Ortiz versus Joseph Benavidez. And I messed this up. Oh, here we go. Joseph Benavidez. All right. Well, he is also the alternate for the main event of the evening, should somebody not be able to make the walk, whether it be weight, injury, whatever, against Diliashaw and Cejudo. So you have Joe's kind of streaky, and I like Joe. I've always been a fan. He's a really good personality. And he beats guys he shouldn't, and then he doesn't beat guys he should. So, recently he beats Alex Perez. Okay, he should have beat that guy, and he did. But lost to Sergio Pettis. I thought he would have been a little too much for Sergio. But he has a win over Henry Cejudo, and I thought he won that fight. It was a split decision, and there was some controversy. I actually watched that fight. Wins over Zach Mczowski, Ali Baganov, John Moraga, already has a win over Dustin Ortiz and the great Missourian Tim Elliott. Then you have Dustin Ortiz. He has, oops, I lost it there for a second. Technical difficulties. Okay, wins for Matthias Nicolau, Alexander Pantoja, Hector Sandoval, Brandon Moreno. He lost to. I like Brandon Moreno. So I'm going with the veteran in this deal. I think Joe, he could have been a champion, and things just did not go his way twice with Mighty Mouse. And there could have been a third had Mighty Mouse stuck around. I mean, that was always a possibility, and it was talked about. So, yeah, I go with the veteran here. I go Joseph Benavidez. All right, Gregor Gillespie. Woo! Man, this guy's underrated also. I saw him fight. He does not have a loss in his record. I saw him fight in Philadelphia. Pittsburgh. UFC Pittsburgh, not Philadelphia. Sorry, Philly guys. And he was a monster, and he loves to fish too, by the way. So, I'm a fan of that. And of course, you'll remember that was the event I had food poisoning on. I saw it live. I'm sitting there throwing up in the trash cans on the floor seats, trying to make it up the walk, and I look up to see people filming me and going crazy. So, damn it. Let's go to the last three fights. Wins over Jason Gonzalez, wins over Jordan Rinaldi, and wins over Vince Pichel, who recently said some very nice things about me on the MMA Roasted podcast. So, his record's great. It's undefeated, but I think he's a stud. I think he's an up-and-comer. I think he wins this. He's in title contention. He just needs to talk his way in there. Against Medeiros, lost to Donald Cerrone, so he fought at welterweight, beat Oliveira, beat Eric Silva, beat Sean Spencer. I'm not really sure why he's coming down. And I believe this is a lightweight fight. So, interesting. Unless I missed something, and Gillespie's coming up, but I don't think he is. So, interesting. If somebody knows why the weight change in Yancy, let me know. I'm curious to know that. But I don't like to pick the guy that's cutting weight down to a weight class he doesn't normally cut down to. So I'm going to go with Gregor Gillespie on there. I hope to God he gets in there, he calls his shot, and gets into title contention because, it's a logjam up there. How would he do against an Ally Quinta or a Tony Ferguson? And not a whole lot of guys left for him to go. All right, next up, Greg Hardy. Lots of controversy there versus Alan Pretty Boy Crowder. All right, Greg Hardy. Not a whole lot of experience, but he's an athlete. He's an athlete like Eric Anders is an athlete. This is not his main sport. Football was his main sport. Could have had a great career in the NFL, but he had some domestic abuse things. It's no laughing matter. I just heard earlier today some of the things surrounding it, and apparently he threw her on a pile of guns. I don't know. It's not funny. So thanks, Michael Bisping and Louis J. Gomez, for making me laugh at that on the Believe in Me podcast. So not funny, but he has wins. Greg Hardy has wins over Austin Lane, Tiberius Gordon, and Rasheem Jones. Two of those were Dana White's Tuesday night, and Extreme Fight Night 352 was his last outing. Then you got Alan Pretty Boy Crowder. Okay. He actually has some wins in the UFC. Oh, he doesn't. I take that back. He's a loss in the UFC against Justin Willis. KO. Punches. Could have happened to anyone. He beats somebody on the Contender Series, Dante Almeida. So then he has wins before that. So he definitely has the pedigree here and the experience. But this is what fascinates me. How's Greg Hardy's ground game? This guy has submissions. Not Greg Hardy, obviously, but Alan Crowder. Submissions, TKOs. I think he's certainly more well-rounded, and if he's smart, he tries to get Greg Hardy to the ground. He sets him up. Obviously, with the striking, he gets him to the ground, and we see at this point, how is Greg Hardy's ground game? So I'm going with the guy that doesn't even have a Wikipedia page or a Twitter checkmark, Alan Pretty Boy Crowder. All right, the main event of the evening. I hate picking this fight on a Wednesday. This fight is on a Saturday because Will TJ Dillashaw make the weight? He is coming down from 135. Now, everyone thinks this is going to give him an advantage, but don't forget, Cejudo's a bigger flyweight too. So, he's even missed weight on a couple of occasions. So, and he's looking a little gaunt. I alluded to that in the 2019 preview podcast. He's looking a little gaunt. He's looking a little starved, if you will. And I even put a little picture of him on there, with the Sally Struthers Help Feed the Children. Gosh, you'll have to go way back on that. Any of my older fans would appreciate that joke. But, wow, this is one of those things that's going to come down to the weight cut. And then Cejudo's looking pretty big. Ripped big. So I don't know how that's going to affect his weight cut. So hope to God one of these guys makes, or both these guys rather, make the walk. It doesn't come down to Joseph Benavidez coming in as an alternate. Man. But the pick. How about the pick? Cejudo, I didn't think Demetrius Johnson got robbed. I thought he probably narrowly won. But it could have went either way. I thought it was really more of a draw. But he's been on a tear. Since losing Joseph Benavidez. Wilson Hayes, Sergio Pettis, Demetrius Johnson. The Mighty Mouse. The greatest flyweight to ever do it. They're all decisions. Now, I understand that TJ Dillashaw has some wrestling he was used to. And I'm back here for you Periscopers. Sorry here. Yeah, it's not the style he was used to. So we'll see what happens here. I think if TJ makes the weight, TJ probably has it. I think he's quick. He's going to be quicker at flyweight if he's not dehydrated. And he's certainly got the striking in his pedigree along with the wrestling. And let's see if the wrestling defense holds up. So, yeah. In the main event of the evening, I have to go with TJ Dillashaw. So, for all you Periscopers that stuck around, I'm sorry there was a pause in the stream. But you can catch the full video on the YouTube channel. Go to AaronSaysWhat.com, click on the MMA Fight Picks tab. And I'm sorry, I am leaving. And until next time,
please remember to support the podcast by visiting the affiliate links on AaronSaysWhat.com.
Are you looking for a permanent home for your podcast? Well, Spreaker can do it all. Spreaker will give you your own RSS feed that you can submit to other platforms, including iTunes. Spreaker's mobile app will let you record from your smartphone, or you can use their web-based console with everything you need to record. Their podcasting plans include being able to host multiple shows at no extra charge. Got a YouTube channel? Spreaker's got you covered. You can effortlessly upload your podcast audio to your channel. You can even move your current podcast to Spreaker without losing any of your iTunes subscribers. Try any plan 30 days for free using promo code ASW.